Go
Okay,
ahead,
good
Tracy.
evening. This is Alameda County Environmental Health Department's community meeting to discuss the 3901 Broadway site in Oakland. John, could I have the next slide, please? My name is Tracy Craig, and I'll be moderating tonight's meeting. We have about a 15-minute presentation followed by questions and answers. And we do have Spanish interpretation, so I'm going to hand this to them so that people that are listening in Spanish can participate in real time.
Buenas noches. Quienes estén utilizando una computadora deben ir al icono de interpretación de Zoom, hacer clic en el icono y elegir en el menú de idiomas el idioma de su preferencia. Si están utilizando un teléfono celular, deben ir a los 3 puntos, allí elegir interpretación y luego el idioma de su preferencia.
Thank you. Okay, as I said, my name is Tracy Craig. I'll be moderating tonight's meeting. This is Alameda County Department of Environmental Health's community meeting to discuss the draft remedial excavation plans and specifications for the 3901 Broadway site in Oakland. We have a short presentation followed by questions and answers. We are in the middle of a public comment period. That means that the public can comment on the draft plans and specifications from August 7th to September 7th, 2004. And there'll be more information on how to provide comments later on in this presentation. Just a quick overview, you can ask or comment tonight. You can also send comments in and we'll provide the address and the email to do that. I'd like to take a short minute to introduce who is with us tonight. And before that, I want to say that we don't have anybody in attendance from the community, but we will run through our presentation, and that way, if there's any questions or concerns from the public, we can refer them to this video and they can watch it. Okay, so with me tonight from Alameda County Environmental Health is Drew York, and he is the case manager, and he'll be presenting tonight. And then the City of Oakland is also involved in this project. They issue grading permits and approve traffic control plans. And finally, during the work itself, the Bay Area Air Quality Management gets involved if there's any kind of dust or odor complaints. And then the next slide discusses the owner and remediation or cleanup team. And so we have the property owner here, and his name is Indrajit. Did I say that right? I'm not going to try to do your last name, but please say it for us.
Indrajit Obey-Sekar. Thank you for the introduction. If I were rich enough to be the owner, I'd be very happy, but I'm just the owner's rep.
Thank you. Well, we're glad you're attending owner's rep Indrajit. And then we have AEI Consultants. They are the property owner's environmental consultants. And finally, we have the communications team, Tracy Craig. I'm moderating the meeting, and with me is John Permati, and he's running all the magic behind to get us up on the web and virtual. Okay, and I think everybody knows where the site is. The site that we're showing is in blue. We've received no comments on our upcoming work that we're proposing, but we have received a couple of phone calls on the Glovatorium site. So you can see clearly here, and it's a little bit confusing. Our site is in blue. The Glovatorium is tucked right next to that site. There looks like the Glovatorium is a site that is under the control of the Water Board. We are with, once again, Alameda County Environmental Health. The Water Board is with the California Environmental Protection Agency. If you have questions about our site, you're welcome to call me or Drew, and our numbers will be later in this presentation. If you have questions about the Glovatorium site, we want to refer you to the San Francisco Regional Water Quality Control Board. And the person there that is in charge of that is Karina Cornejo, and her phone number is 510-622-2302. Once again, our presentation tonight is just about the site that you see outlined in blue on the slide. Okay, and a quick site overview. The site itself consists of a new parking structure for some newly renovated medical offices. There's some historic land uses that contributed to some very, very minor contamination. The property owner did not cause that environmental contamination, but they are cleaning it up to support future use for parking and as medical offices. And now I think I'm going to hand this over to Drew York, once again, case manager with Alameda County. Drew?
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. As Tracy said, I represent Alameda County Environmental Health Department Local Oversight Program. We are providing environmental oversight of this case, and the address is 3901 Broadway. As Tracy said, we did receive some public comments regarding a case to the south, located at 3820 Manila Avenue. We won't be discussing that site as Alameda County does not provide environmental regulatory oversight of that case. So I would encourage you to reach out to Karina if you have any questions regarding that. Back to our site. So numerous subsurface investigations have been conducted at the site since 2023 in soil, groundwater, and soil vapor. These investigations were to evaluate the presence of subsurface impacts, to evaluate if identified impacts have leached to groundwater, and to evaluate the migration of soil vapor along preferential pathways, such as subsurface utilities. Results from these numerous investigations indicated chlorinated volatile organic compounds, specifically tetrachloroethylene, was detected in soil and soil vapor. Tetrachloroethylene, also known as PCE or PERC, is a product of potential historical land use at the site as an auto repair facility and or dry cleaning facility. As a result of these, the detection of these impacts, Alameda County required the cleanup of the soil and soil vapor impacts to mitigate the risk of potentially migrating to groundwater and or to offsite receptors along preferential pathways. Data collected right now as of 2024 indicate that soil and groundwater and soil vapor in soil, groundwater, and soil vapor indicate there are no health risks to offsite residents of the future tenants of the parking garage or medical office building. This is a figure showing numerous borings for the collection of soil and soil vapor across the site. And you can see the red dashed line is the property boundary. And then you can also see an orange dashed line, which we'll be talking about in our next slide. Go ahead. So for the proposed cleanup, is going to consist of excavating soil from a relatively small targeted area. That targeted area is a 15 by 15 foot area to approximately 4 feet deep. And that is at the entrance of the already constructed parking garage. That soil will then be transported off-site to a permanent landfill facility, and then the excavation area will be backfilled with clean fill in accordance with guidelines for import-export that Alameda County has in place. In terms of the field work, there'll be a small field crew, 2 to 5 people over approximately 1 day because of the small excavation area. And the work hours, usually dictated by the city of Oakland, will be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This figure shows the amount of soil borings that have been collected within the proposed excavation area. You can see that the excavation area has been delineated both vertically and laterally to known clean points. Yeah, so there is one thing to mention. There are subsurface utilities that may be coming in around SBB which may alter the excavation area slightly. Next slide. Again, this is a plan view aerial of the excavation area. This is an old figure, but right now where it says site is a parking garage that has been recently constructed. So for protecting the community during excavation, we have strict guidelines for protecting the community. That will include spraying water to keep the soil damp from keeping it up in the air. You can see a picture here of an excavator directly loading onto a Conex box. In this case, they'll be directly loading onto trucks, and there'll be cleaning stations to ensure equipment is free of soil before driving onto the street. As required by the state, they'll be covering the trucks, and they'll be sweeping the adjacent streets if any soil is taken offsite, is deposited on the streets offsite. For truck management, this is usually done by the City of Oakland. However, we are interested in it as well. Right now, the anticipated plan is one truck of work, 1 day of work with 2 trucks. The trucks will be staged on site and not in residential streets. The truck drivers will adhere to the City of Oakland approved traffic control plan, and we'll talk about the traffic control plan of the truck in the next slide. Again, like I said, they'll not park on residential streets, and they will adhere to clean idling standards, which is not idling for more than 5 minutes. And as mentioned before, and they'll be cleaned upon leaving the site. Right here is you can see the anticipated truck route to pick up. Again, this is 2 trucks. They'll be traveling down Broadway and entering the site from Manila Avenue. Okay, I'll hand it over to Tracy.
Sure. So our schedule is as follows. There's a public comment period that we're running from August 7th to September 7th. We're having the community meeting tonight, August 21st. Alameda County made an agreement with the property owner that if there wasn't much interest in the community, and we do have no attendees at tonight's meeting, that work could start immediately following the public comment period, because it is important to get this stuff out of the ground. So work will be
just a clarification during the comment period, right?
Yes, yes. So it will start immediately after tonight's meeting, is
Correct.
my understanding. So it will be a foreshortened public comment period, and then work would actually start what day? And I believe it's just 1 day of work. So work is planned for what day?
Not set yet, but it's in that window from the 27th to the 26th to the 7th.
Okay, so work will start from the 26th to the 27th, and it will last 1 day and perhaps 2 if necessary, but it's a very, very short-lived project, which is why we're shortening the public comment period, because there doesn't seem like there's going to be too much interest. And then communications will be ongoing throughout this, so I will always be available should somebody have any questions or comments. We aren't sending a work notice out for this simply because it's 1 day of work, but I still have my regular job of answering the phone if anybody calls that received the fact sheet and has questions or concerns. Next slide, John. And here is how to get a hold of us. So again, public comment period is running from August 7th, and then we'll end it after this meeting. So it will end tomorrow, but we'll still take comments or questions during that time. Anytime during the work, you're welcome to call me at the number below, 510-334-4866. That is my cell phone. I'm available 24/7, and I actually answer it. If I don't, I get right back to people. And my email is there as well. If you'd like to send any kind of comment in, even after the public comment period, that's fine. You can send them to me at the address indicated there, Powell Street in Emeryville. Finally, all of the documents for this, including the fact sheet that notified people about this meeting, the remedial excavation plans and specifications, are available on the Water Board's website, and that is the GeoTracker www.waterboards.ca.gov right there. And all you have to do is enter in the search bar after you go there, 3901 Broadway. And I believe that concludes our presentation. I don't think we have any attendees, so I don't believe we have any questions or concerns. Once again, the public comment will be ending tonight, and work was cleared to start as soon as tomorrow, but it looks like it will be starting a few days later. Drew, anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank all of you for attending tonight and our Spanish interpreters as well. And I wish everybody a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.